just going to mention this because this was super simple. Because I also like, you guys are familiar with like buffalo, 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 buffalo.
Yes, you missed one. It's 13.
Is it? Is it like
13 buffaloes.
Is it 13 buffaloes altogether?
13.
Okay. All right, because it's buffalo from buffalo, then buffalo, other buffalo from buffalo, who have been buffaloed by other buffalo from buffalo. I think was kind of how the whole thing works out if you insert extra things. Oh God, yeah, that weird carrier.
I saw somebody with one of those at PAX.
Did it have a cat in it?
No.
Oh.
They were just walking around with an empty cat carrier backpack.
Is that like releasing 3 pigs numbered 1, 2, and 4? Like, is that because that would be what that makes me think? I'm like, oh, you have a problem and you don't know about it yet. All right.
Was the zipper slightly undone?
I don't recall. I don't think so.
There was a cat in there.
It's possible there was a cat in there that I couldn't see, but...
So there's a, so the sentence I've been sent, and I'm going to read it out because I do find it interesting, then I'll click this little link to find out if I've said something awful, I don't know. The sentence is, Jack, while Jill had a more favorable response from the teacher.
I've heard that one before.
That one's a new one on me.
So, if you add punctuation to that, and the problem is that it would be very difficult to do this because this would work better if we had a whiteboard so we could actually add the punctuation to it. They said they're 95% sure this works grammatically if you add punctuation. Your challenge is to find out. You may want to split into groups or whatever. So we've been just given a logic puzzle. But their answer is Jack, comma, while Jill had, wait, no, that's close quotes there, comma, 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 had, close quotes, semicolon, open quote, full quote, had, comma, had, comma, had, close quotes, had a more favorable response from the teacher.
This is why we don't use past perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Past perfect, present, future.
What do words mean?
So it's like John, while James, while John had a better effect on the teacher. Yeah, it's complicated. I guess the idea is to try to see how many hads you can insert into it. Anyway, I'm going to mark that as done because I don't think there's any way we're going to spend a lot of time working on that.
No, I also think that one works better in text.
Yeah, when you can actually see it and you can start breaking it all into pieces.
Slightly related but different, one of my favorite things about the Russian language is that there's no such thing as double negatives. You can just add as many negatives as you want to your sentence and you're just saying more no.
Oh, I like that.
More no.
That sounds incredibly Russian.
You know can't not do not that.
Я не знаю.
Oh, I see what's happening there. Great. Okay, I'm going to close that. Emlyn's first.